A very matter-of-fact win for the Baltimore Ravens over the Miami Dolphins to improve to 3-5 on the season. It is the Project Game Day post-game show. It is brought to you by 1-800-GAMBLER and helpmygamblingproblem.org. If you or a loved one has a gambling problem, give them a call or a text at 1-800-GAMBLER or visit helpmygamblingproblem.org for free confidential services. It's a comfortable victory. It's a much needed victory, and yet it's not an overwhelming victory. We'll go one by one with some first thoughts. I'll begin with Ken Zales. KZ, your initial reaction to the Ravens win.
I thought they came out in the second half and established their offense a little bit more. The first half was just weird. It was slow. It was weird. The Dolphins shot themselves in the foot. Defense played well. Your stars, I mean, what a difference. We talked about it last week, but, you know, having Hamilton be that, you never know where he's lining up, and having Smith healthy again makes all the difference in the world. Still don't have a pass rush.
Did you guys notice
Uh,
that Ken just said Smith, so he didn't screw up and say Roshan again?
you like that? See,
Tyus definitely noticed.
okay,
He
you like that one?
definitely noticed.
I caught it. I caught it.
Well,
You
Ken's
caught
a
it?
pro. He's
Yo,
a professional
his
broadcaster.
name is Roshan Smith, y'all. From here on out, the man's name is Roshan Smith. Andrew, welcome back, friend. We haven't
Yeah,
seen you in a few
Andrew's
weeks.
here. We'll go to Andrew next. Go ahead, Casey. Sorry.
No, and Lamar worked his way back into the game. He was accurate. Once again, the four, what he wound up with, four touchdowns and probably a 70+% uh, completion percentage. They didn't turn the ball over. They didn't make mistakes, and um, the punter averaged over 60 yards a punt. He had a great night, bailed him out a couple of times. So, as critical as I've been of his, good for him this week. So, it's a very workman. I think it's workman-like. I mean, they didn't wow anybody. Were anybody wowed?
No, I don't think it was a wow performance, but I think it was a much needed performance.
Yeah.
Let's
And
go.
now they get a mini break.
Yep, let's go next. As Rita mentioned, he's back. Andrew Steck.
Yeah, I thought it was like KZ said, kind of workmanlike. The word I kept coming to was complementary, especially in the first half. It felt like the offense and defense were playing complementary football, which is kind of what you want out of your football team. You don't want to have one end of things carry it, which is I think what we think this team's going to be for the most part is going to be the offense carrying things, especially when eight is back, which quite obviously eight is back, which is the other big kind of highlight of this. And obviously you have to caveat everything with the Dolphins. KZ said shot themselves in the foot, peed down their leg, whatever you want to say. They created their own mistakes, and they are kind of what they are. They're obviously a football team that's in a fair amount of disarray right now. But the Ravens took advantage, and you have to do that. It's a short week on a Thursday night. You need to buckle up and go win that game, and they did, and I think they deserve credit for that. And like you said, mini break, and you regroup, and you have to treat every game like it's a playoff game, and they did for this one. They got the job done.
Rita, I'll go to you next. First thoughts.
Great to see Lamar back. Wanted to see a Jackson 5, but I'm greedy, so had to ask for the I had that reach for the ceiling for that. Glad to see that, this defense has continued to, play good football. You know what I mean? I think that's the biggest thing. I agree with KZ that they look at the trade deadline, you got to find a pass rusher. That's going to have to happen. If you really think that you are a contender and that you believe that you can, make a run, you're going to have to get a pass rusher. But that said, great to see Lamar back, and great to see Lamar. First couple series, he was a little rusty, and that's understandable. And I thought it was going to probably take 2 series for him to kind of get back in the form, and he did that. And he played really good football. And I agree with Andrew that they played complementary football. I kind of hate that term because it feels cliche, but that's essentially what happened. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this is a good win for them. I mean, their schedule feels very winnable in the next 4 games. And I know we've heard a lot about that, about what their schedule looks like in the next couple of weeks. But it is a realistic situation. So, and you and I talked about this, Glenn, the other day. Like, you can't just look, if Lamar's going to be back and he's going to be playing, you can't ever count this team out. That's just never gonna happen. So it was just good to see him, kind of shake off the little rust early on and get back into form.
Tyus, I go to you for your first thoughts, and I want to add in there. I'd like for you to respond to this question. Are we, when we say we weren't wowed or anything like that, are we being too dismissive of, hey, you just went on the road on a Thursday night and won a game by 3 touchdowns? Like, should we be more celebratory than what we're feeling, which is a little bit more of like a, okay, ho hum, type of response?
I will say a little bit. I mean, Miami is not the best team, and they're obviously having a rough year so far. And then at the same time, like, you understand the standard that Baltimore has when it comes to the way that they play, regardless of who they're playing, is it's going to be high level. They're going to take care of business, and they show no mercy to nobody. I don't care if you're the Kansas City Chiefs or the Miami Dolphins. Like, they know what the standard is. So I couldn't really just say either one just because Miami is not good, but at the same time, you know what the standard is with that team. And you just got to go with how it goes. And that's just taking care of business tonight, playing, like Andrew said, complimentary football and coming out with a win going into, a short week. So that's always a huge positive for that team. They look good. Lamar looks good. I've seen the um the escape out of the pocket, and he looked
Hmm.
like he was in really good form, which is awesome to see. And defense took care of business. You know, a ton of fourth down stops and getting Lamar the ball, and they going down the field making plays. So overall, I think it was an overall good effort, but I don't really just see it as, oh, rah rah, we're back, we're playoff contention and all of this stuff. But it's just a positive direction going into the new week.
I think that's the exact right way to say it. I do want to ask how good the defense really was, right? I don't want to be dismissive because they did. They came away with a couple of big turnovers. Tyus, you bring up on third down tonight, the Dolphins were 2 for 12 on third down tonight. That said, right, like they were in the red zone 3 times. They came away with 0 points. And so you made the biggest plays and the biggest moments, but you did let them move down the field a good bit. I think yards ended up almost even. Yeah, the Ravens had 338, the Dolphins had 332 for the game. That's where I guess when we measure the defense, we ask how much of that is about the opponent. Like, was it a really strong defensive performance, or was it more of like that, hey, they bent really far, but thankfully they didn't break type of performance?
I would say they didn't break, honestly. I mean, like Rita said, you need another pass rusher, somebody that's going to get to the quarterback. Um, Run game, it's good to have. Uh, how did KZ say Roquan's name?
Yeah, Roshan.
Yeah,
Oh,
Roshan.
Roshan.
It's good to have him, back there. I mean, everybody, played good, but there's still some things that needs to be fixed within that defense to be looked at as an actual playoff contender and somebody that's a threat to that AFC. So that's kind of how I just look at it. But I mean, like I said, this is a good win, and there's some things that they could look within this game to continue to get better and see where they need to have some pick me up at, and from there, kind of move forward into the next week.
To the point they end up with forcing 3 turnovers and 2 sacks on the night, as far as the big plays are concerned. I thought Teddy Buchanan was really good tonight too, and obviously the forced fumble at the end kind of, it was the icing on the cake. But I thought he looked really good, and he's looked more and more comfortable. And I think that's one of the things we talk about is the massive difference that these guys look like when, old Roshan is next to them
Right.
versus
I was gonna say that too, but
like,
at the end of the day, I think, you know, rightfully so, we were a little critical of him. Like in the Texans game, he didn't play well, and that's because Roquan, aka Roshan, wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
And so now that he has, the general back, he's able to do the things that he's able to do. And he looks good in doing that. And I think, um, look, I mean, Roquan can make a lot of people look good. There's other players that have gone to other pastures and other teams that have, benefited from
Yep.
playing next to Roquan Smith. And so Teddy absolutely, I think, had played well tonight. And I think a big part of that is just having Roquan back to help him.
I thought he was really good tonight. I'll bring up Rita brought up adding another this is the last show we'll do before the trade deadline on Tuesday, and I kind of want to go round table on this one. I'll start with I'll start with Griffin for this. If they only make one move, is it an edge? Is it a defensive tackle? Because I still think that they are like the lack of depth along the defensive line really stands out. And you saw early Devon Achane was having a lot of success. Look, Miami got to a point where they couldn't run the ball anymore tonight because they were down by so much, but they were really running the ball well to start the game. And I'll still throw offensive line into this conversation. And again, like the Ravens ended up wearing them down on the ground, but early on, they were having a hard time getting things going. And look, even Pat Ricard, who we were obviously raving about a week ago, he did not have a great first half tonight. You rarely ever see Pat Ricard be put on his ass the way that Bradley Chubb did. But like, if those are the three, rank those in order of priority. And if there's something else to you that should be on that list, but Griffin, I'll let you start on this one.
I think I'm inclined to still say somewhere along the defensive front, just because of what you brought up.
You got to rank
the depth.
rush, or D line specifically.
And the other thing that makes it tough is that it is the Dolphins, and they're clearly not not the best team this year. And I may go back to the offensive line though, just because the Dolphins were they're a decent defensive front, and they were getting pressure throughout the game even after it was clearly in hand. The Ravens were still taking some TFLs, and they were still getting some sacks of Lamar late and getting pressure on him late. I think man, I don't know. I think the defense is the more of the splash, like the splashy route, because that can help force. But they forced a lot of turnovers.
Griffin,
You're doing the answer the question.
You are.
I want to see. I will go offensive line.
Trying to be real diplomatic and real. You are being political. Pick.
He's over here filibustering.
I'll go offensive line one of those guard spots. Improve one of those. So I'll go O line number 1. I'll go interior D line I'll go edge rush number 2. Travis Jones looked really good. And then I'll go interior D line number 3.
All right, Andrew Steck, I'll go to you next. You do not get the 10 minutes that we just gave Griffin to answer the question.
Minutes.
I don't want them because I've had my answer for my concise 30-second answer here for the last 5 minutes. It's offensive line. It's offensive line 1 because as much as I compliment them for playing the complementary football that they did tonight, they're going to need to rely on the offense this season more than they are on anything else. They need to strengthen their strength bottom line. After that, it would be the interior D line, because I think you're going to want to be able to stop the run a little bit better more than anything. And yes, of course, they do need edge help too, but that would be third in line for me right at this point, because I think helping the offensive line is going to be key for this team to be able to allow 8 to put the cape on, and for Derrick Henry to do what he does as well. It's going to open up all the doors for them to be able to make this playoff run.
Rita, I'll go to you next.
So I'm not going to go offensive line first, because I feel like I'm going to put my chips in Emory Jones finding a way to be healthy and going to the guard position. So I'm not ready to go there particularly, but they are my second. I'm still going to go with pass rush because they don't have one. Shout out to Mike Green. He does the best that he can, but at the end of the day, they're going to need a pass rush once they start getting to better quarterbacks moving forward. So I'll say pass rush 1. I'll say offensive line 2, and then defensive tackle 3.
KZ.
I'm sort of inclined to go with Rita's exact order there. You need a guy to go get the quarterback when you need to go and get the quarterback, and they don't have that guy. And I don't know that maybe maybe it was my eyes, maybe I was bored in the first half. I thought a lot of the runs that the Dolphins got were around the edge. I thought the interior defensive line played pretty well today. I didn't see a lot of runs like right up the gut, things like that. I thought they held that down. I, I'm gonna go an edge rusher, one offensive line, two interior, three. Um, but with the caveat that wherever they could get the best player, like
Right.
I don't want
Right.
I don't want a band-aid. I don't Carl who they just signed
Yes, Carl
Lawson
Lawson, correct.
Larson. Like if you could go get Max Crosby, go get Max Crosby. If you could go get a stud interior defensive lineman because you can't get really good edge, then do that. And the same thing with the offensive line. No band-aids here. Like go get a difference maker. And if you can only make one deal, and that's fine. But you know, if I could go pick the defensive, the edge rusher, I'd rather bring that here.
Tyus.
I might mix it up. So I think I'm gonna go with offensive line number one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with an edge rusher at number two, and then I'm gonna actually go with an interior linebacker at number three.
Interesting. Interesting. Even after the night Teddy Buchanan had that night.
Yeah, I mean, it's just very inconsistent to me, And you look at when Roquan is active and he's making plays and he's doing things like, yeah, you depend on him to be out there every single snap, but you just never know when there's cases that you need somebody that can hold it down while he's out or while he's getting a breather. And honestly, I don't know if anybody here can honestly say that they trust 32 or 40 to be back there, taking charge of that defense.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like within that defense, you need somebody who has some type of experience that can keep everything a hold, while they're out there. Because, I mean, you can have all your edge rushes and everything that, but when you don't have nobody that can be vocal, that can hit those gaps and make those plays that specifically for you, then, I mean, all of that don't even matter, because everybody could do their job. But if your secondary is not there to make plays and make sure everybody is on one accord, I mean, all of that don't matter. So that'll be my wild card pick at number three.
And to be fair, and you can remind her, you know all about it. That was how they ended up with Roquan the first time, right? Like none of us thought that team, you guys were looking for an inside linebacker. Like that was not
Exactly.
what we thought the need was, but that was the player, to Ken's point, that was the player that was available, and he was really good. And so the Ravens said, okay, we'll go get the really special player, even if it's at a position that people don't necessarily think is our area of need. The cheating answer, because I do think I line up ultimately closer to where Reed and KZ are. I'm probably edge one, O line two, and defensive line three. But the cheating answer, yet still probably legitimate, is that presumably if they're looking for a defensive lineman, they're looking for someone that they expect can also help in getting after the passer. You're not going to find Namdi on the trade market more than likely, although if Justin Simmons is on the trade market, right? Like that's someone that certainly could help you a little bit. Even Sexy Dexy could probably help a little bit in that department. Quinnen Williams could probably help a little bit in that department. Those types of guys. So that's sort of the cheating answer, is that you're trying to do both. You're getting your defensive tackle, but you're hoping that guy can also be impactful in improving, getting after quarterbacks. I think that's I think that ultimately what we keep coming back to, I liked what you said, Andrew, that this team is going to win or lose based on their offense. But you get to the playoffs, you're going to be facing Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes. You need someone that can win when everything is on the line. And it's the biggest thing that it's felt like this team has been missing. And so I don't know that guy is available. I know who made the joke. I think it was Jonas made the joke at the end of the game that Jalen Phillips was sacking his future teammate, Lamar Jackson, there at the end. I don't know that Jalen Phillips is even the game changer, but he might be the best of what's available. And so I'd absolutely take it. I'd take it, and I'd say make sure you try to use them right, and you can go
I
win
mean,
games.
EDC was down there. He might as well have had a conversation with
Just say, hey,
their
bro,
GM to say, "Hey, you
hey,
want to
bro, why
talk?
don't you get on
Hey,
the plane? Why don't you go right ahead and get on the plane?
no, talk to the
Yeah.
GM. Like, hey, I
Uh-oh.
mean, I'm here. Let's make some things shake. You know what I mean? I got
Yeah,
this
ain't nothing
fourth
going on
round.
in Miami, so we might as well go ahead and
I'm just
make
making
it
a
something
point.
out
Look,
here. Yeah.
Well,
so look, you know how they say deals get made on the golf course, right? So like, why deals can't get made on the football field? So my thing is like,
Why
hey,
not?
I got four fifth round picks. So, let's make some things work. That's
yeah,
all I'm saying.
I am in favor. I am in favor. Hey, our post-game show is also brought to you by Live Casino and Hotel. Nothing to do this Sunday. There is a whole bunch of football being played, but no Ravens games. So why don't you just hang out inside Sports and Social? 100-foot media wall, great food, drink specials, just an awesome atmosphere for watching all of the games at Sports and Social. By the way, Tyus, were you conflicted at all tonight in rooting interests with two of your favorite teams? Your
I
former teams?
was I was like I was like 85% Ravens
Okay. I mean, you were
and
only in Miami
10%
for
Miami.
like a
Yeah.
sneeze, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
Baltimore changed my life. They changed my family's life. I had my longest career there, so of course I had to root for the purple and black, but I still had a little bit of love for Miami, so
is it over for Mike McDaniel at this point? Like, is
yeah.
this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually talking to a few of my guys. I'm like, they're probably telling him, hey, just go ahead and walk to the facility that's up the street and start packing up your office.
Just, just, just
Don't
go.
even come back out for the second half, man. Just
Maybe
don't
go.
even.
Maybe go ahead and do it tonight so that we don't have to go through the awkwardness of tomorrow with
Exactly.
like everybody at the building.
Yeah,
Just go ahead.
I already called the packing company. They're already gonna be there first thing in the morning at your crib. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just go ahead. You already know what it is. Let's go ahead and just nip it in
Now
the bud.
they've come out and said that Mike McDaniel, they're not going to make any moves on him anytime soon. Of course, that can change, right? Like, of course, like if a game like tonight could potentially
You
change
keep
all of
losing
that.
games like this,
One
yeah,
thousand
we'll
percent.
make some changes.
I'm saying that this is what was said before tonight's outcome or whatever. But at the end of the day, I whether it's now or whether it's just at the end of the season, I just don't see how he makes it to 2026. Let me say that.
Oh, yeah, there's almost no chance of that
Right.
happening. What went wrong? I know this is, I don't really care, but what went wrong there? Because like they brought it up on the broadcast, like he was a really hot name. Like you guys know from that game to open the season a couple years ago where they came back. Like the Dolphins were even think about that. Was that Christmas Eve? That game where they came into or they played the Ravens and the Ravens stomped them 2 years ago, but like they
New
had been
Year's
Yeah.
the
Eve.
hot
Yeah.
New Year's Eve, was that when it was? They had been like the
Yes.
hottest team in
Yes.
football right up until that day. Like what? I sort of look at that game as the game where everything changed for Miami.
Tua's the answer.
No, I mean, for me, I think it's just the culture. I think when you talk about setting a culture and the foundation for your team, it starts with the coach. And you can have all your captains, you can have all these big money guys be your vocal leaders and all this stuff, but when you're not setting the tone as a head coach to like, hey, this is how things need to be ran, this is how we need to communicate, this is how we need to schedule things, this is how practice needs to be, this is how we need to approach everything. Like it's hard for everyone to dial in. And I mean, we've heard all the interviews that's been going on with Tua where unfortunately he's been exposing the team and what's been going on in the facility. I mean, when you got guys who's not pulling up to meetings, who's missing out on meetings, I mean, that tells you everything. That tells you everything about that team and
Yeah.
what's going on. And for your quarterback to even say that in front of the world, like that right there is a no-go as well. So I mean, that right there is just a little instance of what you only see from the outside looking in and no telling what's going on in there that's making it that's what's showing out here,
It's interesting.
each and every single week. So I mean, that's why I feel like the struggle is just the foundation.
I do think that it's something to be said about like a team like Miami who has not made the playoffs in a really long time. Was it 2008, Glenn, when they had Chad Pennington
Pennington, yeah.
when the Ravens beat
Ravens went,
them.
yeah, went to
Okay, so
Miami.
like
Yeah.
my thing is like I wonder how much of it just like living in Miami. Miami is Miami. If you've ever been there, you know what it's like. You know what I mean? And Tyus maybe can attribute to that. But also my favorite thing is like when Tua said what he said. There was a lot of people that came out and was like, "Well, you're the team captain. You're supposed to be responsible for these things," or I was at a meeting one time and you were late. So I just really wonder how much of that like affects like just being in Miami. Like Miami is a party city. Miami is a town where, there's a lot of bright lights. It's the New York of the South, but it's better because the weather is better. And I just wonder how much of that plays into like the culture. You know what I'm saying?
That's an
Like
interesting question.
Rita,
it is really
there's a lot of give a damn down there though. They have like a lot of really rabid fans that know they've been through it. Like I've been down there for a couple of road
sure.
games that the Ravens have played. I was down there, in fact, a couple of years ago when they played on a Thursday night and the Ravens got beat.
Yeah, but
Stinker.
they had Brian
Like,
Flores out there with that defense. You know what I'm
well,
saying?
exactly. But there's a lot of fans down there that actually kind of feel a little I mean, it's not as bad, don't get me wrong, but they feel a little Brownsish, like as a franchise to some extent. There's a lot of like woe is me down there among the fan base that I run into a lot. And like they feel like they've been going through it. And
To Rita's point, it's 25 years.
Yeah.
25 years since they won a
And
playoff
I'll
game.
tell you what, Amazon did them
Nuts.
no favors tonight, showing all the fans with the bags over their heads. Like
Yep.
Amazon was really like laying into it on the
It's
broadcast. It was kind of wild.
Propaganda.
All right, enough. We don't need to talk anymore about the Dolphins. Let's talk about the Ravens. They're 3-5. Thoughts on we all kind of brushed over Lamar. I guess, and I'll start again with you, Tyus. If this was where he was first game back from the hamstring, how confident are you that he's full Lamar over the course of the next month or so?
I'm pretty confident in it. I think these last 2 or 3 weeks off was definitely beneficial, and I feel like this long off week in a way, if you want to say weekend, is definitely going to give him some time to recover as well. So I feel like just based off of what I've seen today, just him running, him feeling comfortable in the pocket, throwing the ball, you feel like he's still in that shape. But I think just the most important part was just seeing just how his hamstring felt. And I mean, based off of some of the plays he did, I mean, he felt great. So I definitely see this being a huge positive for that offense and for this team moving forward.
It's funny because I say full Lamar, Rita, but like you and I talked about it a bunch. What I'm saying in full Lamar is like we only saw him really take off once tonight.
And a
There
lot of
was
it had to do with just the fact
Shoot,
that,
that's
like,
all you need.
and also
yeah,
too, it was like some plays that broke down. I feel like that one play that you saw take off was supposed to be a pitch play for the running, and
yeah,
it got
and
blew
that
up.
right. That was a designed. I agree. That was a designed run. So I'm really only counting the one scramble on third
Yeah,
down, which
yeah,
was
yeah.
successful later on in the game. And I think what I'm asking is there a chance that maybe this is the full Lamar now? Like this is just his story where his priority is always going to be staying in the pocket and
Yes.
giving the play time to develop the way that he did on the I guess it was the third or the fourth touchdown, the one to Bateman.
Yeah.
It was the one where he hung in the pocket for a little while and let
I
that
feel
play.
like we know that about Lamar at this point. Lamar is not, in my opinion, is not really interested in running the football. He wants to be considered an elite passer. I also want to say too, like while we're having this conversation about Lamar, like he continues to um, just make a case for his Hall of Fame career. Lamar has he's now ahead of having 4 or more touchdown passes with 5 or less incompletions. He has surpassed Peyton Manning, apparently. I just saw it on NFL Network, so I'm bringing it up because I just saw it. So my thing is like, I don't necessarily like Glenn. You and I are kind of on the same page of that. Like, we don't like love Lamar, not necessarily like running the football. Although, like, we're giving him a pass now because he's coming back from a hamstring. Yes, that's the stat that I saw. Thank you so much, Griffin. Although, like, this is like you and I are both in agreement. Like, Lamar's is special because of the things that he can do with his legs, but I also understand like tonight wasn't going to be the night that he was going to be running the football. So I get it because this is his first game back. But like my favorite thing about Lamar is like, even in the fact that we saw how rusty he was early on, like he's still breaking records out here. Like he just continues to build his resume on being a first ballot Hall of Famer. So yeah, I mean, look, this is why you cannot say that the Ravens are out of anything. They're only 2 games out of first place. So let's start there. They have Lamar Jackson, and let's end there. Okay? You only need 2 things. 2 games out of first place, Lamar Jackson. Those 2 things are why the people have the Ravens potentially winning the AFC North. And Lamar is just playing at such a high level right now. And it's unfortunate that he's missed essentially a month of football, but it was glad to see him back and getting back to the form that we know that he can play in.
Before I bring our buddy Ron in, KZ Stick, any thoughts on what you saw from Lamar tonight?
I saw, I saw a pocket passer that's really, really good, and probably one of the best in the NFL, and a guy that knows he can get out and get those yards when he needs to get the yards. You didn't need him to be you didn't need him to be Superman tonight. So he took what the defense gave him. And when he needed to escape or he needed to pick up a first down, we saw that he was able to do it. And I think that's more important to me than the fact that he had 13 rush yards, is that the escapability was there. And you could see as the game went on, he felt more confidence in escapability, because when you're coming back from a hamstring, until you hit 100%, you don't know if you have 100%. And I think now going forward, Lamar has more confidence in Lamar, and we should all have all the confidence in the world.
Yeah, there's going to be games where he has to run for 100 yards, but this wasn't one of them. I mean, that's as easy. I mean, the Dolphins gave him every opportunity to hit guys that were open, gave him every opportunity to find time, and like KZ said, use his escapability rather than his rushing ability to get the job done. He'll get the job done however he needs to get it done. That's why he's, like Rita said, going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, one of the greatest players of all time, no question about it. Hey, there's a brand new Costa Sin now open in Timonium at the Grandstand. Everything you love about the OG Costa Sin on North Point Boulevard, that is, with the exception of steamed crabs. You got to go to the OG in order to get steamed crabs. But everything else that you love on the menu, including, I'm always telling people, get the crab jalapeno poppers. They are delightful. At the Costa Sin, now open at the Grandstand in Timonium. Let's bring in our buddy Ron. And yes,
Lamar's also the first player to ever join the Amazon Prime desk 5 times. They gave him a belt just now for joining the desk 5 times.
I mean, that's the big one, obviously.
Yeah,
that's the one that matters the most, I think. Thank you, Griffin. That's the most important tap in that you could offer. Ron,
so that was a Jackson 5. Real quick, Ron. That was a Jackson 5.
Look at that. You got what you wanted. Ron, now here's the rule. After wins, you're not allowed to fire anybody on this show. After wins,
is that a rule?
That is a rule on this show. You're not allowed to fire anyone after a victory. KZ's going to have to promote somebody in a minute, but nobody that you can fire. Your thoughts?
So congratulations on a nice win. Congratulations to John Harbaugh on a nice challenge. How about I'll say something nice?
Look at you saying something nice.
Hey, because not me saying, oh, what a dumbass challenge. And then them winning the challenge. And I was like, oh, wow, look at me being loud and wrong. Shout out to Harbs.
A blind squirrel can find a nut every once in a while. But let me just say this. I'm torn here, and I don't want to fall in love, because I kind of knew this was going to happen. I know some people. Lamar Jackson is good enough. This division stinks. The Ravens were never out of it. I always believed the Ravens were making the playoffs. And my whole thing is, it's just, again, a question. I know you don't want to root against your team. I get that. I understand that. I understand that. You want the team to win. No, but Glenn, I understand that. I'm just saying, again, they're too talented to ever bottom out. They're going to make the playoffs. It's a question of, do you believe that with this coach, who, in my opinion, gets consistently outcoached in the big game, do you trust him in the playoffs? I understand you have to get to the playoffs. I know this team is making the playoffs with Lamar Jackson. If he's healthy, they're making the playoffs. So we'll see. He can prove me wrong. He hasn't had a chance to prove me. He's never proved me wrong. But we'll see. But I'm going to be positive today because I was happy for Lamar. He got in rhythm in the second half. And I'm not falling in love. I am not falling in love.
That's you being positive.
I hate to see you being negative.
Yo,
Ron.
you
I
worse
know,
than
my God.
KZ. Yo, he worse than you, KZ. Oh my God.
I mean, look, I started the HWO. There are T-shirts around town with that. But come on, dude. I mean, not today.
I have
there are
scar
times
tissue.
he
I have
didn't.
scars, Ken.
He didn't. Look, I'm of the opinion, and I say this going into every year. The regular season doesn't matter to me.
I agree.
I expect them, like the expectation with the Ravens, whether they start 1-4, 1-5, is that they're going to make the playoffs every single
Correct.
year. But you have to give the coach some credit, and you have to give the organization some credit for what they've done the last 2 weeks, because it was very easy to fold this tent and go home and blame the injuries and say, we're not going to fire anybody because of all these injuries. They did this. They went on the road on a short week and they dominated a team. I don't care who they are. This is a team that last week crushed the Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta. Like it's a week-to-week league. So, I just today's not the day, Ron. I don't know.
I can't believe it's Ken
I have
saying
so
that.
much.
I can't believe it's
I do
Ken.
too.
Ken,
I know.
I have
mean,
18 years of painful
I'm with you.
times.
No,
And
you don't have
with you.
18 years of painful. There was a Super
Now
Bowl.
there's a Super now. Whoa. There's 4
Ron.
AFC championship games and a Super Bowl in this 18 years. Now, come
Ron.
on now.
I play for championships, and that championship, he was there. I get he was there. But that's all I'm gonna say.
All right.
Well, hey,
so let me come in. Let me come in here and defend this. The outcoach thing. Listen, I will give you the outcoach thing, like against the Texans. I'll give you the outcoach thing. Listen, John Harbaugh wasn't out there giving up 3 turnovers in the Buffalo game, and that led to 10 points and against the Bills. I can't get John Harbaugh. Also, I do not believe, whether people would like to believe it or not, allows 6 runs amongst running backs in the AFC Championship game. Sometimes we got to just blame the people that's on the field, and that's just kind of what it is, right? Like, I am not a John Harbaugh apologist, but what I am is a realist. And sometimes we just have to put the blame on the people that actually play the football game. So you just got to let the same way that we can sit and say Harbaugh helped win this game, which I'm not going to do, because the guys on the field is the ones that for the most part was the ones that won today. It's the same way they lose some of these games. We got to start holding people accountable. And just because we like these people doesn't mean that we cannot hold these people accountable. I'm going to hold Lamar accountable for 2 turnovers. I'm going to hold Mark Andrews for that 1 turnover. And I think that that's a fair argument. We got to start being real.
So you want me to give Harbaugh, give him his day. Give him a day.
No, I don't want you to do that. I just want, what I'm saying is that I think it's fair that I think we have to start acknowledging that the coach can only do but so much on game day. And at the end of the day, execution is important. And when the players don't execute, we have to start saying that those players didn't execute. We all love Lamar Jackson. Again, Lamar Jackson's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer as far as I'm concerned. But I'm not about to not hold Lamar accountable for turning the ball over 2 times in a playoff game.
Sure.
He played a big part of why they lost.
No
right?
question.
Not hard.
No question.
And so I'm ready for. I want Mike McDaniel. I wanted Mike McDaniel to stay as much as
Mike McDonald, not Mike McDaniel.
Whatever.
Yes.
Mike in Seattle. I wanted Mike in Seattle. Okay, Mike in Seattle. I'm having a KZ moment. I'm just making the point that I wanted that guy to be the next head coach too. He ain't here no more. But I also have to acknowledge that sometimes it's the dudes that's on the field that's making the difference as opposed to the head coach. That's all.
The Ravens just won 28-6. Ron, I love you, man, but this is not the night.
I know.
This is not the
night. But it's not. No, it's the nights where we acknowledge that, of course, they needed a win, and you give them the credit. But I'm sorry, and I know this is my last.
I don't think you're sorry.
No,
I don't think you're sorry.
Glenn, you have to be careful because, again, if you fall too much in love, they will hurt you. So you have to just be careful.
Ron, no one's even falling in love here. We're acknowledging that they got a job.
You are not a Bengals fan, Ron. You are not a Bengals fan.
Ron,
There are people
Ron.
on Twitter right now. There are people on Twitter right now saying we're back. We're going to this. Like
We are back. We back, Shorty. Get on the wagon. Get on it.
All
Get
right.
on that wagon right now,
I think
Ron.
I think we need to come to a middle balance here.
Yes, that's all I'm saying. That's all.
No,
I'm
it's not
saying.
all you're saying. You still want to fire the coach today.
Oh, I do. Yes.
Here's what you did. So usually, I have to promote somebody,
Yes.
but I'm going to go off script because of what Ron made me do today. Ron, you've gotten fired for at least 1 week.
No.
Yeah. He made me defend John Harbaugh. I mean,
Yeah, that's hard to do.
No.
That's hard.
Oh no. KZ, you still have to promote somebody, buddy. Who are you promoting this week?
I've been hard on this dude all year for 2 years.
Yeah.
Jordan
Yeah.
Stout.
No doubt, man.
You get it. You get it.
No
I mean,
doubt.
You said
he
it,
was great.
KZ.
He had a good game.
He was great today.
Yeah,
I'm on another thread, and I was like, what? He was consistent. Every punt got him out of trouble a couple of times. Did he wind up averaging 60 plus?
No, the one, like, if they had gotten down to cover the one that Washington gave up on, he would have finished. They only got that ended up being a touchback, but he finished with 50, averaging 56, and that's including the one that was they needed shorter, and he still ended up averaging 56.
Yeah, no, I thought he gets promoted. I mean, it's easy to promote some other guys, but I've been hard on him. He gets it today.
No, this is a no doubter to me, man. Jordan Stout.
Man.
Yeah.
Hey, I was about to say at the end of the show, I was about to be like, hey, shout out KZ for giving Jordan Stout 2 weeks in a row some love. And he already brought it up before I even said it.
Yo.
So that just tells you everything.
Remember last week he was like, I'm never gonna like the guy. Do you remember when he said
Absolutely.
that? He said, I'm never gonna like the guy.
Well, no,
here,
but fair is fair. I mean,
Hey, he was excellent tonight. There is no doubt about the fact that he was excellent tonight. A lot of people bring it up that it is his contract year. It's if you're gonna pick a year to be excellent,
we know how that goes.
You're gonna see more Jordan Stout. So get ready, KZ.
You're gonna pick the year to be excellent. This is a good year to pick in order to turn into an excellent punter. Oh my, Ron, man, I can't believe what you did to us. I can't believe.
Hey, Ron been hurt in his life. He gotta get checked, man. You got a therapist, man?
Hey, Billy Cundiff. There's just a lot of scar tissue with things.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see
Ron,
that.
they won the next year, Ron.
I want to see Lamar win a trophy. Okay, I want to. Nobody wants to. Other people want to see Lamar win a trophy. I want to see it get done so I can apologize at the end of this thing. But I don't want to get my heart broken, Rita. That's all.
I feel you. This is all defense mechanism, and I get it. I completely understand. As a person that after the Buffalo game said, hey, I just don't know.
She said, Rita's multiple times turned her emotions off this season.
Have I not? I mean, I have been very indifferent multiple times. So it's Ron, I get it. I do. I really do. But one thing it's important to me is to not lose the logic, because if I do that, then I want everybody fired. I want a whole new slate of people, right? and so I have to be cognizant of not allowing my emotions to affect my logic. But look, I'm with you. I do. I get it. I understand. I was at that AFC Championship game. I had to sit there in that cold ass weather and watch what the hell I had to watch. I get it. I
flew across the country for that damn thing.
Oh yeah, didn't I see you at the tail?
We met up beforehand.
Hey, friend. And then I lost my wallet that night, y'all, on the light rail, and I made my boyfriend go try to chase the light rail, knowing damn good and well he can't chase no damn light rail because he had this in the light rail. Okay?
I had 2 sad beers at Pickles and went home.
Hey, so we understand you, Ron.
Yeah.
But we gotta keep perspective. We gotta keep perspective.
Hey, Ron, you didn't notice Rita game 3, they was playing band. She was like, if they don't care.
Oh, was that the game that I had a couple? No, what was
Man,
the games
what?
that I
You was
had a
going
couple?
through it. You was on the rail or something like that.
It
You
was
was
the
going
it was
through
the
it.
Chiefs. It was the Chiefs game,
Yes,
wasn't it?
the Chiefs
It
game.
was the Chiefs game,
She was
okay,
going
friend.
through it.
I was on some whoop de doo, okay. I
I
was on
hear
the
you.
whoop de doo. I had
But it's
fully
okay.
gotten off the wagon,
Okay,
okay. But
though.
now
It's
I'm
okay.
back.
It's
I'm
okay.
back on the wagon.
Oh God.
We are non-judge. You can't be judgmental about it. It just this is a passionate thing, and we've been through a lot. That's all I'm saying.
Understandable.
We
I
love
get
We
you.
love you, pal. We do
All right.
love you. If you're feeling sluggish, unfocused, or not like yourself, it could be low testosterone. There hasn't been low testosterone for most of this call. This call has been loaded with energy. At Gameday Men's Health, they specialize in testosterone replacement therapy to help men boost energy, improve mood, and regain confidence. Their treatments include testosterone cypionate, are safe, natural, and tailored to fit your lifestyle with weekly injections or pellet therapy. Give them a call, 443-264-4454 in Owings Mills, 443-266-3505 in Columbia, 240-931-3717 in Frederick, or visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com and ask them about a complimentary testosterone test. Anybody we needed to talk up that we haven't talked? Let's shout out the tight ends. We haven't really talked about that.
Yes, I was just gonna
Shout out.
say, hey, Mark Andrews,
Yeah.
Isaiah Likely, my main man, Kolar. Hey,
Hey, there is nothing that Rita loves
loved
in
it.
her life more than a third tight end.
I'm,
Y'all don't know this.
I'm always gonna remember Billy Badger.
Badgerma,
Hey, that's
Rita
my guy. That's my guy. You know, Dan Wilcox.
loves third.
I'm the person that loves the tight end. Okay, so that's always gonna be my thing. So
She is the biggest third tight end fan on the face of the planet.
And Stark's got his first INT tonight, right?
And look, that was a really nice play too. Read that the entire way. Look, you can say the two it was an arm punt essentially, but he did the ball skills there were very impressive for Malachi Starks on that interception. So that was a good thing. And it'll get lost. Griffin put up the there's a go. Shout out the tight ends. Griffin put up the thing that John said about the biggest play, and Griffin and I do the 5 plays segment every week. I don't know where I am between that Lamar scramble and really go back to the Alohi Gilman play to start the game. That really was to me kind of a tone setter early on.
And you know what was 2 plays before the Gilman punch out? It was the punt from Stout to pin him inside the 5. That's back-to-back weeks they've made a turnover right after pinning the other team inside the 5.
That's a great point. That's a great point. All right, friends. Everybody enjoy your weekend. Ron, it's going to be all right, buddy. It's going to be all right.
One last thing, Glad. Did you guys talk about did you think Lamar was purposely not running in that first half?
Yeah,
did you talk about that already?
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit. Yes, and again, we all kind of think that there's a little bit more of this might just be who Lamar wants to be moving forward, that it might be a little bit about the hamstring and a little bit about just I want to be the guy that hangs in the pocket and lets plays develop, and I respect it. I mean, obviously, he finished 18 to 23 tonight. There's not a whole lot. There's not a whole lot more that you can ask.
I was fine with it. I was just curious, if that was coming in, hey,
Rita and I in particular are perpetually on we would like to see him take off a little bit more.
Yeah,
we are.
I think what to Andrew's point, when he'll need to do it, he'll do it. Tonight, he didn't need to do it.
I don't know how I feel about that, Casey. He was supposed to do it in the AFC Championship game. He didn't do it, so I don't know. I feel like
okay. Don't
know.
I know, but this is about him coming back from the hamstring right now.
Okay, that's fair. I just hope that I just hope moving it if they want to have a serious playoff run, sometimes they're going to need Lamar to use his legs.
He's gonna have to wear his S on the chest and to be serious about it and not
this
turn over the ball.
I
totally agree with that. Just tonight wasn't that night that he.
I agree with that too. Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, friends. Don't forget 1-800-GAMBLER, helpmygamblingproblem.org. If you or a loved one has a gambling problem, give them a call or text for free confidential services. Enjoy your weekend. We will see you back here next Sunday following Ravens-Vikings. Thank you all for hanging out tonight.
Oh, by the way, I will be in Minnesota, so listen, at the end of the day. Yes. Don't do that, Glenn. I will be joining, but, I will be at the game. So
yeah, but this is when you start going back to the don't embarrass me stuff.
I'm not saying that no more because they've been embarrassing me. So I'm not even saying nothing. I didn't even say it tonight, Glenn. I'm just making the point that I will not I will be at the stadium when you guys see me.
By the
in
way,
there.
can I just say something? This is really only for Rita. You know how annoying it is to me that when Rita was on TV tonight, all of my friends texted me about it. No
And
matter
nobody texted me. The fuck?
no one ever cares about anything that I'm doing. No one cares. Whenever
Whoa,
I'm
whoa,
doing
whoa, whoa,
anything,
whoa! That's not true. I sent pictures of me and you.
I did. I know. And that's what they were. I had 16 people text me that there was the picture of you, me, and the mayor on TV tonight, and they were like, "Yo, Rita was amazing." I'm like, "I know Rita was amazing. I know that."
Glenn, you had a social media post used in a social media post by the Orioles
About the new
today. I
manager.
noticed that
I
about the
did
new
see
manager.
that. I
So
did
credit to
see
you.
that.
Yeah, go look at the Orioles social
I
media.
did see that. All right.
What?
I'll explain later. I gotta
Okay,
go.
please do,
It's
because I'm
late.
like, I'm so confused.
No, it's late. It's late. Love you guys. Thanks for
Enjoy the
hanging
win.
out. Have a great weekend.